Check this out. The Dolphins are 2-0. Miami coming in this week. You like that? You like that? After trailing by 3 touchdowns, our producer does it. It's okay. Tua Tagovailoa and his speedy receivers race past the Ravens. QB1 loving his 2 targets in South Florida. He threw for 469 and 6 touchdowns, 4 of which came during that final period. Need for speed is a real thing when it comes to the Fins. Numbers off the charts. You see it there. Tua had his first 400-yard passing game, those 6 touchdowns. Tied for a team record held by Bob Greasy and also Dan Marino. Tyreek Hill had 11 for 190. And how about 2 touchdowns there? Jalen Waddle, 11 for 171 there. And during that rally, Miami had 233 yards in the fourth quarter alone. I'm still laughing that nobody liked the Tua line. It's okay. I should have said it okay with you, Ryan, because a lot of haters over here is in the control room. My guy is checking in here, so we're going to have some fun here. The good, the bad, the big, ugly here. And Ryan, of course, the good, Miami, putting us on notice. The numbers, the offense there will be a problem this season.
Well, they are fantastic, especially offensively. I love the Tua and not going to be able to say it much. Double B, don't let them get you down. Winning always looks different. But these Dolphins, they won a game that started 35-14 in the fourth quarter. They were down 21 points. What did they do? They went to their receivers. Tua Tagovailoa looked as athletic as he did at Alabama, throwing the deep ball. He spread the ball around the field, though, too. It wasn't just Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill, which, by the way, which receiver's better? I really couldn't tell watching that game. The offensive line gave protection all day, and that defense was dominant in that second half for the Miami Dolphins. This was a huge win, arguably the best comeback victory of the season that you'll ever see. They did it on the road at Baltimore. Very, very tough place to play. This is setting up for a Week 3 matchup that's going to be unbelievable between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. How about the NFL giving us such knockout matchups to start this season?
I mean, use it one more time. They were Tua good there, of course, but we'll see how good they are with the Bills on Sunday on CBS. All right,
Give
I'm done.
Give him an Emmy.
I'm done.
Give him
That's
an
it.
Emmy.
That's
Come on.
it. That's it. How about the bad, though? Joe Burrow turning into the get-hit man. Cowboys sacked him 6 times. This was after a week. He was hit 7 times against the Steelers. What's the deal with that new offensive line? Of course, they put a lot of money into it in the offseason here. They're not protecting the franchise, though, here, Ryan.
They are not. 13 sacks in the last 2 weeks. And yes, they went against Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, which I told you, I warned you about Micah Parsons. But what teams are figuring out is that Joe Burrow is not as mobile as, say, a Justin Herbert or even, Josh Allen. So his immobility has really changed how defenses rush the passer. They're forcing that point, as they call it. They kind of practice rushing inside out. They really squeeze that pocket. And then Joe Burrow is just not as athletic as other quarterbacks to move in the pocket and create. Now, there are some other things. Running backs are not picking up blitzes as well, but they had a chance to win this game. And the fact that I have to say that because they're facing Cooper Rush, that's insane. I mean, that defense got worn down, started with a 12-play touchdown scoring drive the Cowboys had to begin the game. But there are problems on defense. There are problems on the offensive line for the Bengals. And overall, the lack of urgency is the biggest problem and the biggest reason they're 0-2.
Ryan, I want to look back at that Joe Burrow picture we just saw. I'm just curious because you were on the O-line back in the day. I mean, you ever had your QB looking like this? I'm assuming no, but I'm just curious.
I mean, we would all like to lie and say no, but that right there, that image is in every offensive tackle's nightmare stat. I mean, that's what you don't want. You're not getting a holiday card. You're not getting gifts. You got somebody's mother upset with you. Why did you protect my boy? It's a terrible place to be, worse than the face in that picture.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's going to need some Bengay this week there leading up to Week 3. How about your big ugly of the week here?
Well, let's go with the Philadelphia Eagles. They gave Jalen Hurts all kinds of time. That offensive line really paved the way to a dominant, huge beating of the Minnesota Vikings. Who is Kirk Cousins? What is this man? We can't figure out if he's good or if he's just trying to play the averages. But you had Jalen Hurts run the football in, lineman downfield. That defensive line was good too. So the Big Ugly's Team of the Week award goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. fly, Eagles fly. Even with all that big belly, Brandon, they can still fly. You know what I mean?
That is true. Fly, Eagles, fly. We'll see how that pans out the rest of the season there. How about your big, ugly player of the week? Maybe a rookie here.
I know, I don't like defensive linemen to start with, but that's how good Aiden Hutchinson was for the Detroit Lions. Just relentless in his pass rush, windmilling pass tackles, falling back into the play. This guy does not give up. He's like a linebacker stuck in a 10-foot box. He just goes side to side, up and down. He will find the quarterback. He's also going to be hurting today and this entire week. All those plays on turf. But he is that piece that you start saying, were they just a defensive end away from competing for the playoffs? Week 3, are we talking about the Detroit Lions in the playoffs because of Aiden Hutchinson? Yes, it's that crazy. He's that good.
He had Commander Carson there sacked 3 times in the first half against Washington, so we'll see what else he can do, of course, coming out of there, Michigan there. How about your big, ugly matchup of the week?
Well, I tell you what, I said it before, but that Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills is going to be on CBS. Make sure you watch it. Teron Armstead, this is why he was brought in. Can he stop Von Miller and that stingy Bills defense? That Teron Armstead versus Von Miller, that matchup will impact the game as much as the entire Dolphins defense against the Bills. So look out for that in week 3.
I feel like Von Miller is going to be a weekly thing when it comes to the matchups to watch and the way this Bills defense is playing there. All right, Rod Harris, as always, my friend, appreciate your time tacking in there. NFL CBS at 1 p.m., those slated games you might want to watch. We just talked about it. Bills at Dolphins, both undefeated so far, 2-0 for the Fins. And then the Bills, of course, 2-0. Bengals and Burrow, interested to see how they head to New York and maybe bounce back first win of the season. Patrick Mahomes reminding us all they're in the AFC as well. That at 1 p.m. on CBS and Paramount+.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.